It was the time after the monsoon, and light clouds were scattered across the sky. At this time the weather was changing, and the approaching summer had made it quite warm. Along with the light breeze, there was a pleasant feeling. I was walking forward with quick steps, and at that moment I was looking around with searching eyes because I had been hungry for 2 days, and at that time I was in search of food. At home, Mother was also sitting hungry. She was sick and she needed food more than I did. But because we had nothing to eat at home, and nor did we have enough means to get food from somewhere, that is why today I gathered the courage and stepped out of the house and started looking around in search of food. Just then I saw a shrine in front of me, and I thought that I should go there and ask about food. Perhaps someone was distributing food in the name of Allah. Thinking this, a gleam appeared in my eyes because I was more concerned for my mother than myself. If anything were to happen to Mother, then in this vast world what would I do all alone? Thinking this, I started walking toward the shrine, and as I looked around there and moved a little forward, suddenly a young man collided with me. I looked at him with disapproval and said, "Are you blind? Can't you see that I'm coming from the front?" But he started looking at me with smiling eyes. I didn't like the way he looked at me. Silently, I adjusted my scarf and covered my face with its end, because that young man's gaze did not feel good to me. Perhaps he sensed my displeasure, and he said, "I apologize. I was walking lost in my thoughts. I didn't see you." Saying this, he sincerely apologized to me. Then he called me again and said, "I've come here to distribute langar, free food. This is langar food. Would you like to take some?" He extended 2 containers toward me, which I hesitantly took because the very purpose of my coming to this shrine was to get langar food, and I wanted to take food for myself and my mother. Now that my hope had been fulfilled, I sincerely thanked him, and, holding the containers, immediately left the shrine. Thank Allah that my wish was soon fulfilled. I didn't have to struggle much to get food. I was walking quickly, heading back home, when suddenly I felt as if someone was walking alongside me. Instinctively, I looked to my right, and seeing what I did, my heart was immediately disturbed. It was the same young man whom I had met at the shrine and who had given me the langar food. He was walking with me. Seeing him, I got scared and said to him, "Why are you coming with me? What's the reason?" When I said this with displeasure, he replied, "Look, fix your scarf properly and always leave the house with your face covered. When you walk like this, many people forget their paths and get lost in the streets of your beauty." Hearing his words, beads of sweat appeared on my forehead. Instinctively, I adjusted my scarf properly and began walking faster. Then he asked me, "What's your name?" I quickly replied, "Why should I tell you?" Saying this, I moved ahead, while that boy perhaps stayed behind somewhere. I walked a little further and turned back to look. He was nowhere to be seen. I sighed in relief. Otherwise, I was afraid that he might follow me all the way home. When I reached home, Mother was sitting weak from hunger. She was also not feeling well. I quickly took out the food from the container and gave it to her. The food was hot. Mother began eating quickly, and after thanking God, she said, "Thank God we've gotten food after 2 days. Where did you bring it from?" When Mother asked, I told her about the shrine. Hearing this, she said, "Perhaps Allah made these shrines for poor people like us, so that we can get food from there." Mother wholeheartedly thanked God and ate all the food. I also ate and set the containers aside. And just then, thoughts of that young man began to return to my mind. Who knows who he was? How deep his eyes were, how tall he was, and the way he was smiling at me. Until today, I had never seen such a handsome man. Then, where had he come from? And what did he want? He shouldn't have followed me. I thought instinctively and lay down to sleep. The next day I once again went to the shrine, because I knew that apart from it, I would not get food from anywhere else. There was nothing at home, and until Mother's health improved, she wouldn't be able to go to work either. That's why I covered myself properly, and came to the shrine and started looking here and there in search of food. Just then, once again, that young man came near me and said, "What's the matter? What are you looking for here and there?" Seeing him, I became somewhat confused because I had not expected that he would be here again today. Nervously, I said to him, "I came here in search of food. My mother and I are hungry and we have nothing to eat, I said softly. Then he smiled and said, "Oh, is that all? Come on, I'll arrange some food for you." Saying this, he started walking ahead, and I, lost in thought, began to follow him. After going a little further into the shrine, he said, "You wait here, I'll bring the food." And who knows where he disappeared. After a short while, when he returned, he had some food packets in his hands which he handed over to me. I instinctively looked at him with grateful eyes and said, "Thank you very much. Because of you, I was able to get food. My mother will be very happy." I thanked him and turned to head back when he said, "I'm very happy I could help you, and don't think of yourself as alone. If you ever need anything, let me know." Upon hearing him say this, I instinctively turned back to look at him, and the bright light shining from his eyes felt very strange to me. His face was smiling, but at that moment I couldn't look at him for more than a few seconds and quickly walked toward the road home. Today's food had also been arranged, and I was happy that Mother would eat to her heart's content and recover soon, because otherwise even the medicine wouldn't take effect. The whole day passed like this. When it was evening, around Maghrib time, suddenly the door of our house was knocked on very loudly. I got up, startled, because until today, no one had ever come to our house. The neighbors, considering us poor, never visited us or maintained any relations. Caught in this confusion, I quickly got up and opened the door, and it was as if the ground beneath my feet slipped away. Standing in front of me was the same boy I had met at the shrine, and in his hands he was carrying a lot of items. Seeing him like that, I said, "Why have you come here?" But ignoring my surprise, he began to say, "Now that I've come here, I thought I'd bring you some grocery items. You go to the shrine every day, and I don't like it. People look at you, and I don't think it's appropriate." Hearing this, I looked at him with sudden fear and said, "Who even are you to me? That you're saying things like this? We don't need any of this stuff. Please leave." By that time, Mother had heard my voice and came to the door. She asked, "What's the matter? Why are you yelling like this?" I told Mother, "Actually, this person met me at the shrine and gave me food. Now today, he has come home with grocery items. I'm telling him we don't need them, but he's insisting and saying, 'Please take them.'" I explained to Mother in a few brief words. Then Mother said, "Son, you seem to be from a good family. If you are doing this with sincere intentions, then thank you. But if you have any selfish motive, then please take your things and leave." Even Mother told him clearly in direct words. Then he said, "Auntie, I like your daughter. Since the day I saw her, no one else has appealed to my heart. I am a Jinn, and I belong to the world of Jinns. I am the heir to the Jinns and their future king. I was merely wandering through this world when suddenly my eyes fell upon your daughter. I saw her troubled and frightened, so I went to the shrine with the thought of helping her and arranged food for her. I don't want your daughter going there and catching people's attention. That's all there is to it." Hearing this, not only I, but also Amma, my mother, was deeply terrified. What business did a Jinn have in the world of humans? And that man didn't seem like a Jinn at all. He looked nothing like what we'd imagine. It felt as if he was playing a joke on us. I said to him, "Have you and your tricks only found us, just a poor mother and daughter, to fool? You must be joking." Ignoring my words, he said, "No, it's nothing like that. I'm neither joking nor lying. I truly am a Jinn, and I exist in this world only for you." His words sent a chill down my spine, and I just stood there staring at his face. He left the groceries behind and walked away. While I sat down, holding my head in my hands, Amma said, "The boy seems nice, but if he really is a Jinn, then what are we going to do?" Even she expressed her fear, and I was already disturbed. I don't know why, but I felt like my life was about to face a serious test. The things brought by the Jinn were lying in our house, but I couldn't bring myself to use them. Still, on Amma's insistence, I began cooking from them. Since Amma was still not well, I started going to work in her place. One day, as I returned, home tired from work, I suddenly saw an old man on the road. He was begging. Looking at him, I felt pity. He appeared in very bad shape. His long white beard was filthy, his clothes were dirty, and the walking stick in his hand seemed to be his only support. I gave him some money out of charity and was about to walk away when he said, "Daughter, good fortune is knocking at your door. Why are you taking so long to open it?" Hearing his voice, I stopped in my tracks. I turned back and asked, "Babaji, what are you talking about? What good fortune?" I asked in surprise. He replied, "Child, the proposal that has come for you, accept it, you will be very happy." Hearing what the old man said, I trembled with fear and asked, "Babaji, how do you know all this? And anyway, that boy is a Jinn. You must know that." At my words, he said, "Child, I know he's a Jinn, but he truly loves you. And besides, he needs you. He's destined to become the king of jinns, Shah-i-Jinnat. But until he marries a human woman, he cannot ascend to that position. According to the customs of the Jinn world, he must marry someone from the human race. Only then will he be worthy of becoming Shah-i-Jinnat. So, if you marry him, your own life will change as well, and surely you'll live in better conditions." Hearing the old man's words, I looked at him in astonishment and asked, "Babaji, how do you know all this? Who exactly are you?" Upon my asking, he replied with a mysterious smile, "Daughter, I am that boy's father, and right now, I am the Shah of the Jinnat. I too married a human girl, and only after that did I become worthy of being the Shah. Now after me, my son will become the Shah of the Jinnat, and he needs you too. Will you help him? In return, he will give you a lot." Upon hearing that fakir's words, I was terrified and involuntarily started running away from there. Running, I reached home, completely out of breath. I closed the door and sat down on the floor, leaning against it. What is happening in my life? Why is everything going so wrong? I was thinking all this in a state of fear when Amma saw me sitting like that. She asked, "What's the matter?" "Why are you sitting like this?" Amma asked worriedly, and I started crying. "Amma, that person is not going to leave me. He will marry me and take me away from here. I don't want to go. Who knows what his world is like? Who knows what kind of environment exists there? I cannot leave you behind. I feel like I will soon be separated from you. Save me, Amma. Stop me, Amma," I said, holding Amma's hand as I cried. And Amma too could not stop her tears and began to cry with me. We both, mother and daughter, cried for a long time. But after a while, Amma composed herself and said, "Tell me, daughter, what exactly has scared you this much?" When Amma asked, I told her everything the fakir on the road had said. After hearing this, Amma said, "In my opinion, my child, you should marry that person, because now I realize that there's no other option. If you don't marry him, he might trouble you all your life and gain power over you. That would make things even more difficult. In my opinion, if you marry him, perhaps your life will become easier." Upon hearing Amma's words, I looked at her in shock and said, "Amma, you're saying this? I am your child and you're asking me to jump into a well?" Upon hearing my words, Amma held me close and said, "Daughter, I'm telling the truth. You should accept this person's companionship, and in my opinion, there is nothing wrong in it." Upon hearing Amma say this, I fell silent. I didn't know what to do anymore. Silently, I got up, performed ablution, wudu, and then stood on the prayer mat and offered 2 units, nafil, of prayer. I prayed in the presence of Allah, "O Allah, make the best decision for me, O Allah. Show me the right path so that I may choose it." While praying, I fell asleep right there, and in my dream I saw that same person giving me a red-colored scarf. I smiled and held that scarf in my hands. I had taken it, and suddenly my eyes opened. I didn't understand the meaning of the dream, but somehow at that moment, my heart felt at peace. I had decided that I would surrender myself to fate, and whatever is written in my destiny, that alone will happen. Thinking this, I felt content, and started going to work as usual. At home, the same. Groceries were still there which that man had brought. A few days passed like this. One evening, when I returned home, Amma said, "Daughter, a marriage proposal has come for you and they want to finalize the engagement today itself." Hearing Amma's words, I was surprised. I asked, "Amma, where did this proposal suddenly come from?" At my amazement, Amma smiled and said, "Daughter, it's a good thing a proposal has come, otherwise girls' families have to go through so much trouble. Come on, wash your face and hands, then come meet them." Hearing Amma's words, I nodded, washed my face and hands, and came in front of the guests. But when I saw him sitting among the guests, it was as if a shock of electricity ran through me. He was smiling and looking at me. Today he was wearing a black salwar kameez, which suited him very well. I immediately lowered my gaze because now I had realized what my destiny was. Just then, a woman among the guests stood up and placed a red engagement scarf over me and also put some jewelry in my hands. Now the engagement was confirmed. I had made myself strong and accepted that this was my destiny. Now I had to embrace it. Now I was feeling a strange kind of love in my heart for that man. It felt like my emotions were changing. That man was handsome and claimed to love me. In such a situation, it didn't take long for my feelings to change. No one had ever loved me this much before. Maybe that's why his love started settling in my heart. Now I was sure that no one could stop our union. On my wedding day, many items for the engagement came from his house. I was amazed at how my fate had changed, but now I had decided to be patient and grateful. I had understood that this was written in my destiny, and I had to accept it. Amma was also very happy with this relationship. She said to me, "Daughter, so what if he is a powerful Jinn? He loves you and wants to make you his. Anyway, he lacks nothing. You will spend your whole life in luxury." Amma's words made me even more content, and to tell the truth, I was already caught in his love, so I decided to surrender myself to him. Today was my wedding with that man who was a powerful Jinn. A large number of Jinns attended my wedding. The things that once used to scare me were now the very things that gave me peace. I was fully dressed in a red bridal outfit, while he looked like a heavenly prince in a white outfit. Our couple was greatly admired, and people kept performing rituals to ward off the evil eye on us. My heartbeat was racing and I was nervous. The wedding rituals had been completed when that man took my hand and said, "I will remain loyal to you all my life and I will keep loving you." His words made me shy. Far within me, a peace began to spread, that now life was being kind to me. Now I no longer needed to work in other people's homes, nor wander around for 2 meals a day. Now I was very happy in life. Dear friends, if you liked this story, do subscribe to our channel Islamic Wise and be sure to become part of our family. Insha'Allah.